There's the crawl out. We've lost a helmet.
Are you afraid of the dark? Are you scared?
Alright guys, we're back with another video. As you can see, we're currently underground in another abandoned mine. And we have, where's Cliff at? There he is. He's hiding behind the icicle. What can I say about this? This is going to probably be one of the best mine videos I've ever done. I've been here before to scout it out. And once I saw what was down here, I knew I had to bring Cliff with me to check it out for himself. And this is actually a well-known mine in the area. I'm not going to give away the name or the location. I do have some stats that I will share about it as far as the dates when it operated and what they were doing down here. This is going to be quite an adventure, so hang on tight and come along with me. As you can see, the camera fogged up, so we got to get acclimated to the temperature, then we'll get going. Okay, I apologize about the fog. Unfortunately, it's very humid and much warmer down here, so the camera's having a hard time adjusting, but you can kind of make it out. That's where we came from. Got some tracks here, and there's 3 different levels here. We'll be heading down the first level, and to the left all the way over is the second level, and then the third, which goes down the deepest and has the most amazing stuff that's still down there. So we're going to check this out first. Like I said, I've scouted this out before, so I know what goes where and how far it goes. And the first and second levels are collapsed. Okay, I'm trying to keep the camera lens clean, but it's a losing battle. But got some rail down here. This is the mined out area. You can see up there those white spots, that's the electrical insulators. It probably was for either lighting or the mine locomotive that pulled the ore carts, which would have stopped here or would have came down the ore chute, loaded up the cars and went out the main haulage tunnel right there. And again, I apologize about the mist. It will clear up eventually. There's actually some hoses and wire here too. You can actually still see coal up there in the ore chute. It's pretty amazing. I know you can't see. I'll show you when it clears up. So you can see these metal rods hanging down. They would have had an electrical wire on there which would power the mine locomotive. Would have been electric powered. And that's what they would have used to pull the ore carts in and out of this first level. And this is remnants of an ore cart here. You can see like the bumpers on it, and the frame of it would have been there. Okay, they're slowly clearing up the camera here. I apologize about the fogginess. You can see they left some pillars here. That's to help support the ceiling. Some companies used to rob those, called robbing the pillars, to get the most coal out of the mine, but that would also leave a loose top which would be prone to collapse. You can see there's another one right here. So they did mine this the safe way. These pillars basically serve as much stronger timbers, and it's hard to tell, but that goes down quite a ways. It's an army crawl to get down there. You might hear that beeping in the background. That's Cliff's meter. The readings keep going back and forth from like 19.6, 19.4. How's the rest of the levels?
What?
The rest of the levels.
Those are all 0, yeah.
Okay. This looks like, yeah, second ore chute right here. Yeah, not much left to it, but the ore, or coal, so to speak, would have slid right down this rock surface. And you can still see there's some material still sitting up there. So looking up here, we got another area with some rockfall, another mined out area. You can see the vein of coal there. or as I like to call it, the coal seam. This is higher grade material, most likely anthracite. And here's where we start getting into some tricky areas, which we're not going to go much farther because if you can see in the distance, we have some large rocks that are waiting to fall. This being one of them, so I'm going to go along the side of it here and not talk too loudly.
This part's sticking up a little sticky. That rock wants to come down.
Yeah, as you can see, we got a large break in the rock here. And I'm not too sure what's holding it up, but we're not going any further. You can see right there that timber is starting to squeeze.
Oh, yeah, I gotta get that.
So you can tell that the top is shifting.
Yeah, that little timber there is bending from the pressure. But
This is highly
that's
dangerous.
super sketchy there. Doesn't look much good further on either.
And it does go further, but there is more collapse up
Yeah.
there.
Wow. Wow, that is kind of scary.
And you can kind of see it does continue, but there's more rock fall. And it's not worth the risk. I mean, that slab right there is laying on that upper area.
Yeah.
I don't know what's holding this up.
Falling already.
That's any little thing can basically drop that down. And that's probably the size of a car. You can see how big that is. It's probably 20 feet long, weighs several tons. I can see a little better now. You can see in the distance it does keep going. I'd imagine not much farther, but it's not worth it right now, so we know enough when to back off. Some little stoked out area here. Another thing that some people have been asking what these timbers are for, they're also known as stalls. They're not necessarily holding up the roof. They serve more than one purpose depending on the type of mine, but some of them are used to keep electrical wires off the ground, to keep them elevated. You'll see some of them that have the electrical insulators on them. They basically just serve as power lines, power poles, like you would see on the street. Other ones, known as cribbing, is where the wood is stacked up kind of side by side, almost like a log cabin style. And that's just to help support either the roof in a loose area or used to hold back some loose falling material. We don't see any of that here right now, but it is seen in mines. And here's another example. Here's another insulator right there. It's off the ground. There's the vein of coal. And another purpose for these stalls, the timbers, is basically an early warning signal for the miners. If they start crushing and popping and sounding like gunshots going off, the miners know to get out of there fast because the top is coming down. There's a collapse. So they're multi-purpose, and they're definitely needed in mines. And you'll see them even in commercial mines today, or the coal mine tours that you could take in various parts of the country. They're in there because they are effective. Got an old can right there. It's a nice little cavity room here. You can see they stoked out the top. Okay, I do have some notes here about this mine. I can tell you that the notes and the information and a photo that I'm going to be showing was courtesy of the Underground Miners. It's a website, undergroundminers.com, and they are a group of gentlemen who have explored these mines. I think this one was explored in 2002, and they really do their time and research to get the history correct on it. They look at old mine maps, and they really do their work to make sure everything's accurately documented. So Some of the stuff here, I can tell you that the mine production began nearby around 1912 to 1914. The particular tunnel that we're in here, the mine, was constructed in 1915 to haul out waste rock and slate. Around the property here, on the outside, there's several buildings that were constructed near the colliery, which included a wash house, an office, machine shop, and living quarters for the men and their families. The 1930s, it changed ownership from the Pennsylvania Coal Company to the Pittston Coal Company. 1938, back to the Pennsylvania Coal Company. They bought it back, and they ended up mining this for coal up until 1963, when the veins were depleted of their efficiency to produce money. There's still coal left behind here. Most of it's just pillars and small veins of coal, not enough to commercialize it anymore. But this has been sitting empty since 1963, and the outside of it is almost unrecognizable except for some building foundations and some man-made waste rock piles of material. So that's the history on it. This mine is actually well known amongst locals. People who do this for a living or hobby like myself or mine explorers do know this mine. So out of respect for them, again, I'm not going to give the name or the location away, but I just wanted to share that information with you. And again, I will show a black and white photo showing how the colliery looked out here when it was in operation. It's pretty impressive. So if you guys have any other information to share about this location, if you do know about it, feel free to comment below, but I just ask that you respectfully don't give the name away or the location in the comment section. So now we're backtracking out towards the first level here, and the camera finally cleared up. So I was trying to show you before, this remnants of an ore cart, and we got these poles hanging down which would have carried wire for the mine locomotive, and we got some pillars, as I explained earlier, were left to help support the top. And coming up here, well, as you can see, the seam of coal is still here, but according to the records, there's not enough left here to continue mining it. And the colliery and everything else is pretty much gone now. They built upon it. All you can find are some foundations around the mine itself. We've got some kind of cable here. And some logs. Those are like freshly cut logs. Not freshly cut, but cut with a saw, I should say. Yeah, and here's the remnants of the ore chute. And I mentioned earlier, it's kind of neat to see that the ore, or in this case coal, is still up there where it would have slid down. So there would have been one or two men working up there to help guide the material down. And it would have been someone down here controlling the chute to load it into the hopper cars. So here we have an insulator hanging from the ceiling, and we're back towards where we began. And this is the main haulage tunnel with the tracks connecting up here, which would have came out through the portal. So we're gonna decide which one we're going next and continue on.
This is an awesome place, man. It's a lot more comfortable than the last mine.
And you can see we got down into the pit, the depths of nowhere. This would be considered an incline slope. And this is the main haulage tunnel. And we got some coal right above us here. Look at this water's coming right out of the face of the rock here. That's pretty neat. Look, it's dry above it. It's pouring right out of there. Okay, so we're in level number 2. I keep bumping my head. But this is almost like a tumbler or a pulley for a hoist the cable would have ran upon the top of that to help guide it.
There's a wooden.
Oh yeah, I didn't even see that.
Looks like that came off of that thing there almost.
Yeah, this is some type of wheel or spool.
That's heavy duty.
Yeah.
There's like there's like all kinds of wood down here.
Yeah, it's a little different workings down here. Look at this. This is man-made. This is
Oh wow.
gobbing with like concrete.
Yeah.
That's a support. You can see the gobbing continues behind it. And gobbing is basically the stacking of waste rock, but it serves multiple purposes, not only for structural support, but also to control airflow. Got some very cramped quarters. Look back there, there's a cable back there. I'll try and zoom in and show you.
Yeah, the ceiling gets lower back here.
There's a cable back there, and this goes quite a ways. Can't really even see it on camera. So down there, this drift keeps going down. This is the second level, but it does dead end. It's collapsed down there. I checked it out when I scouted. It goes about another 50, maybe 60 feet, and then that's it. And you can see this is this timber is squeezing here.
Oh yeah.
And there's a lot of mined out areas here. I mean, and this is only, if you're wondering why it's so like narrow or short, that's the size of the coal vein. It's only maybe 2 feet high, and you had to basically crawl on your belly to work up there. There's also a lot of timbers down here. Some of them are axe cut, some are saw cut. So I believe they had this looks like it was blocked off. I'm not mistaken here. This is the gobbing wall, and it looks like there was a wooden door here. And I believe it would have closed it off here to control airflow. This may be older workings, but I'm almost certain that's what we're looking at right here. Okay, so we just came from down there. It's level number 2. Not too exciting, just a lot of timbers. Looks like there was a doorway to control airflow with the gobbing. And it was cool though to see the hoist pulley and the spool. I'm assuming that's what it was anyways, but now we're going to head down level number 3, which is they say the best for last, so to speak. Down there's going to be a workshop, as well as some other workings, and I think another slope that goes down in this direction. So we're going to head down, show you a little bit part of the way through, and then we'll pick up down bottom. Now here we have a ore cart wheel. It's pretty neat to see. See that? Or cartwheel. And you can see the tracks came all the way from the surface up to a waste rock pile. And they're still here, but severely deteriorated and washed away from the flowing water. But this is the main haulage tunnel to haul out the waste material from the nearby mine that was connected to the colliery. So just trying to put it into perspective as to what we're looking at. And you can see we got lots of flowing water here. There's a little cavity here, a little pocket. It's like a train coming down the tunnel.
Actually deep water, isn't it?
There are some little pockets here and there. Got a big stoked out area right in front of us here. This looks like, yeah, I think this might be an ore pass. I think there's an upper level they would have shot the coal down through. Probably would have landed into the hopper cars, but I believe that's what that is. This looks like it goes in up there. That's kind of neat.
Giant hole with this.
I gotta tell you, it's nice to be down here wearing just a long sleeve shirt. It's outside right now, it's in the 20s. So it's nice and comfortable down here. See, we got some little pools of water here too. So we're just going to continue down the main haulage tunnel here, the main drift. Again, they have these little pockets here with maybe for storage, possibly for the men to get out of the way when the ore carts are coming up. But they would have been pulled up by a hoist up here with this steep of a slope. For the most part, we can stand up, straight up, which is nice. Look at that. They didn't even take the bark off these trees. That's a white birch tree. I don't know what kind that is, but you can still see the bark on it. Put some insulators on the side of it. Oh, look at it. We got the axle for one of the ore carts. That's pretty neat. They must have had some good sized carts because that's a fairly good sized wheel. I guess they're kind of like miniature hopper cars that you see on a train. Okay, now I'm glad we saw this. I was mentioning earlier about the different types of timbers or stalls. The one I forgot to mention is called a timber set, and this is
Looks like a door here.
exactly what it is. You can see the timbers are standing up to supports with the cross beam, and that's to sometimes stop or catch loose material falling from the top. Other times it's just to help support a potentially loose top. So that's your classic timber set that you would see. A lot of times they're usually put at portals of the mine, because near the portal is usually the weakest area of the mine itself because it's near the surface. So typically you see them at the front, but this is halfway through, so this must have a potentially loose top here that it's helping support. But I'm glad we got to see that because I forgot to mention that earlier. So we got a little mined out area here with a bent stall.
Even down here, I can find mushrooms
Oh, I didn't even see that.
down in the bottom of the earth. They can't escape me. Alright. Well, they don't need the light though, so they don't mind it.
Yeah, a lot of times you'll have this timber set here with a bunch of cross beams on top of it. Sometimes on top of a stoked out area or a chamber. But it's just solid bedrock here, but still neat to see. It's a little stoked out area here. And that's essentially a sign of cribbing right there. Not traditional, but where they basically lay the logs upon each other, crisscrossing them like log cabin style. That's called cribbing, but that's just a very small form of it. Got a pool of water here. I gotta make sure I don't step in that. There's a nice little worked out area here. Maybe dynamite storage or tools. More insulators here on this timber, which I'm almost assuming would have brought power down to the machine shop, the foreman's office, and the hospital, because there's no way a mine locomotive could climb this slope. Just so they have to be hauled up by a hoist. Okay, now it starts to flatten out down here. I'll just give you a look as to where we came from. That's probably about a 15-20 degree angle. Got some loose top here, some rock fall. And somebody was enjoying a Budweiser. So you can see this is, I'm not going to spend too much time here, but it's fractured. So this is eventually going to fall. So we got a little chamber going this way, another drift with some rail, lots of timbering, and as you can see, it's collapsed. So that goes maybe 30-40 feet, and then it's just a tangled mess of rock and timbers, and if there's that many timbers, it's definitely a loose top, not a very structurally sound area of the mine. Like somebody was having a good time down here. Very large. It's almost like a telephone pole down here. And I wanted to show you this coal seam. That is like pinched down to nothing. As you saw earlier, it's about 2 feet. Look at my hand here. That's maybe 3 inches. So, very small seam of coal. And it's here, all this material is what washed down from under the tracks coming down that slope. Look at that, we got a doorway here. Let's see. Get my light out. So yeah, it's a little cavity here with another door down there. So this is probably older workings, probably put here for airflow. And this big slab here fell down from the top, and it kind of goes back there. Oh yeah, quite a ways. Can't even pick it up on camera. So this is another drift that went out in this direction, but most likely it's in older workings. But be curious to see where it goes. I can hear water dripping back there. Yeah, if I'm showing back there, it's hard to see, but it goes at least 100 feet that I could see. This is one of the highlights I wanted to show you down here. This is officially named the motor barn. And I'll show you a little bit later on why it's called that, but this was essentially the repair shop for the ore carts, for the locomotive. If they busted an axle or a wheel frayed off or whatever the case was, they were able to bring it in here and work on it. Saves time and money by repairing it in-house rather than hauling it up outside. But this is one of the best finds I've ever come across in a mine. And if you don't know what you're looking at, that's a large crane. And I don't know how high it would have sat up, but there's a pit here. And so the the mechanic or whoever, the repairman could be under the cart to work on it. And if they had to raise it up to change an axle or wheel, they could do so with this crane. And on the left here, they have a workbench, shelving with some concrete lined walls. And on the side here, you might recognize something here. 8/6/2002, breaker boys and underground miners. Underground miners are the ones who have the website that provided me the details of this mine, as well as the old black and white photo, which I shared earlier. So they left their mark down here, and I have a great deal of respect for those guys, because not only did they take the time and effort to locate these mines, but they researched them to the best of their abilities and really found out the dates, the company names, and everything else that they were able to share with the public. So let's see here. We got some shovels here. The handles rotted right away. And somebody's drinking their 40. But as you can see, they had like shelves probably with tools or materials or parts. Typically what you see in a regular garage that would fix your car. Don't know really what I'm looking at here, but I can still appreciate the awesomeness of it. These are like soft washers. Electrical box. That's a lamp for a light. There's various nuts and bolts and screws. You can see Cliff's light, he's way down there. He's probably loving this. There's just a lot of electrical parts. Looks like they had a sink there or something, maybe a parts wash tank there. Looks like there's some plumbing coming down from it. And up on top there's one of those light hoods we just looked at. Some more storage. And just completely awesome. I'm going to set the camera down and give you a good perspective as to the size of it here. Hopefully you can tell from the video, this is a very large room, very spacious. It's almost like a gallery. And I think these are roughly 12 to 15 feet high tops, and probably almost the same distance across. Concrete lined walls. Must have had their own little mixing plant down here to make all this. It's basically for support with the built-in shelving, as you can see here. It's all man-made. Very awesome. Here's a closer look at that sink, which I believe that's what it was. It looks like some plumbing coming down. So here's a closer look at the crane here. Got the big hook on it. Multiple gears and chains. I want to say that this was connected up there, because in the corners there's beams coming out, so I think this was elevated. Obviously it would have to be so the cars could come in and out. And this would have been, looks like connected as well right up there. So you have to imagine this would be sitting around 10, 12 feet in the air maybe. And this would be like an industrial crane that would slide on the beams. It has the roller wheels right there, so it could roll to any distance over the pit to lift up the carts. Pretty awesome. There's even like a aluminum drum down here. Hooks. Looks like there was doors on these, there's hinges. But I see Cliff's up there waiting for me, so I'm gonna keep moving forward. This looks like there's another repair shop area, maybe storage area. Some wooden toolboxes, brick supports, and another pit.
It's like a false floor on either side.
Where?
On either. It's just boards.
Oh, it's undercut, yeah. That's another room over there. Oh, look at it, it's like a maybe electrical parts room, bunch of insulators here. Oops. It's neat that they're still here. It's like a rag or something. Yeah, workbench. Some kind of spool here for some kind of wire. Another electrical box. Very cool. Lots of storage. All made out of these concrete walls. And we got a, I think this is the air line here, which would have supplied air to either the drills or some of the equipment. And more over the top electrical connectors, knob and tube, and insulators. It's really impressive though that they had all this down here. Mine must have had some money. So we're walking what is essentially the back shop area, you know, repair area. Depending on what they were brought down here for, they would have came to these various rooms to be fixed up to continue with production. Look at these, still have the wiring. Yes, this would provide a power down here for the various areas. I'm sure they had lighting, telephones, and here is the stamping 1915 motor barn. So it's not just a name it was given by people, it was officially known as this. That's an awesome find. See the electrical wires continue. So we just exited the motor barn. Rails continue right into a collapse. And you can see it left a large opened up chamber above it. So not sure if this continues or not. Take a peek at it and see. So right back there is a motor barn. We're on top of this rock fall. And got another concrete wall with the entranceway, so we're gonna get down here and check that out. Okay, that's where I just came from. Cliff's making his way down. You can see there's a big rock fall there. And it came into like a little concrete lined tunnel. As you can see straight ahead, it doesn't look very good at all. Although you could crawl through there, it's not worth it at all. Just give you a peek over here with the camera.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah, that's
End of the line. It looks like.
timber heaven back there. Dozens and dozens of timbers. That was all loose top that came down.
Oh, there's a little sideways in there.
That's completely obliterated. Funny enough, you could still see all the way through. You could make your way through if you were,
Yeah, wow.
I guess, stupid enough to, but that is definitely not worth it. But it just shows you how extensive this mine was. I mean, it kept going in various directions, but due to collapse, it's impenetrable anymore. So right next to the collapsed part, we got a little manway here. And head down, check it out.
Side passage.
Got a wooden door here.
Concrete.
Another wooden door here, so we got an air chamber.
Sorry about that.
low ceiling here. Okay. So we got an underworked area there, as well as that side.
Oh, mushroom, more mushrooms.
Oh yeah, look at them. That's my flashlight, see how far that goes. So, yeah, this goes a good distance. Must have been a little vein of coal here that they worked out. You can see they left a pillar here. But it's weird that's right in this little area here in between the manway. That's a concrete gobbed wall and another underworked area. I can actually feel cold air coming out of here. That's awfully strange. That looks like a little pathway there where someone's been walking. There's something back there too. That goes a long way. This is huge. This is intriguing though. I mean, I really want to crawl back there, but I don't have the right clothing. I need like overalls or coveralls to do that. But this is pretty impressive. But yeah, there's definitely a little padded down area where people have been walking or crawling. So this definitely has my attention, maybe for a future adventure to see where this goes. Can't wait to see it on the big screen on my TV to see how it looks. Okay, so continuing forward here, some more stalls, some rockfall, and a room here, which I believe goes down to a different level. Oh, did you go down?
It looks like it ends down there.
Does it?
I'm not sure.
I'll check it out.
It goes down pretty far and then it's pretty steep.
So I believe this was a manway to get to different workings or a different level. You see they got a, I think it's a dual purpose airline / railing. Wow, that is steep. I think that's pinched off. Look at this rock right here is ready to fall. I think that's collapsed down there. Looks like the railing runs right into it. It's pretty neat though. It's too bad. I don't know, maybe it might be able to crawl over that. Okay, so we're gonna stop here. At least I thought about going down there, but just to play it safe, we're not going to. We don't know how much battery life we have on our lights, so instead of getting ourselves in a bad situation, we're going to turn around. But my gut instinct is that it goes down and you could climb over that collapse down there. That's what it looks like. So if I ever do return, I'll definitely bring some extra batteries and check that out. But for now, we're going to turn around and continue on this level. Okay, so straight ahead of us, can't go any further. I think that's collapsed. It's pinched off right at the ceiling. So, looks almost like a subsidence. But, just came out of there. That's where that area was that went down really steep with the railing. But we got to backtrack now and head back towards the motor barn. So that's where we just came from. And to the left over there goes back towards the motor barn. And we're going to go to the right now. Okay, just descended over that rock fall there. And coming up to a couple cool spots here. I never saw this before. see what goes up here. Another drift here. Some timber sets. Oh, there's cliff. A little stoked out area. Let's see where that goes. Oh, that goes down, drops off into a big open chamber. This looks like an ore chute right here. It drops down. That's definitely sketchy. Somebody went walking there. You can see footprints right there. And then, what do we got here? Wow, that just keeps going and going. May have to do a part 2 on this mine. I don't know. This is actually bigger than I thought. I didn't see this when I scouted it out. So yeah, we got another drift running that way. There's some rockfall right in front of it, but easily passable. And here we got a couple rooms. Some makeshift offices, so to speak. Okay. Another tire right there. Looks like it may have been a safe or something. So, a few rooms down here. One of them was an infirmary or hospital, and the other was a superintendent's or foreman's office. You see there's little rooms upon rooms here with some jail cell bar windows. Little electrical box. So this may have been hospital / infirmary or the foreman's office, can't really tell. But still neat, it's all concrete lined. And my video might look a little bit darker than it did before because one of my 2 spotlights actually stopped working. I don't know why. Never happened before. So I was looking at the outside of it. Electrical insulators. And yeah, that's where we climbed over. I went down that way and picked up with that other drift, which I didn't know existed until today. So Cliff's far ahead of me. I'm gonna catch up with him and we'll be making our way back up the haulage tunnel. And we'll be wrapping up the video there. And here's building number 2. Not building number 2, room number 2. It's got like a large workbench in here. It's a little shelf built in and a little opening there. That's obviously busted through. More shelving. So this looks like a workbench. Maybe possibly where they had the blueprints for the mines, showing the areas to mine out. The glove right there. They even had some plaster over the brick. So pretty awesome. And I didn't even see that. That's another chamber right there. It's like maybe a cross cut. Yeah, so there's definitely more to this mine to be explored When I came to scout it out, I wasn't even aware of this back section here, so definitely have to return. Very, very awesome. It kills me that I can't do it today because I hate leaving a location and not knowing what else is down here. I like to kind of see it for myself and know that we got everything, but then unfortunately it won't happen today. Okay guys, that's gonna do it for our mine adventure today. Hope you enjoyed the look at the inside of this beast of a mine. I want to first thank Cliff for joining me today. He's great to work with, and we both think alike and have the same interests as far as doing this, and we both like to do things safely. So on that note, don't attempt to do this at home, or I should say on your own, without doing your homework, without having the proper equipment, or without going with someone. It's not safe at all to do this by yourself, especially at these types of mines. You saw the number of collapsed areas, and it just really is a dangerous situation, and we wouldn't do this if we weren't comfortable with our knowledge and our know-how and how to read our bodies and the environment itself. So with that being said, I hope to plan a return trip here. I didn't realize there was actually more drifts and cross-cut areas and undercut areas than there actually was here. I discovered more today than I did when I scouted the place. So ran out of, not ran out of battery, but my camera battery is almost out of power, and one of my two lights actually stopped working, which has never happened before. So decided to cut it out here and not press our luck, because if I lose any more lights, it's going to be difficult getting out of here. So we don't want to try and tempt fate. But if you enjoyed this adventure, please give it a thumbs up. It means a lot to me. Subscribe to the Wandering Woodsman. I'll have his link to his channel down below, as well as a link to his video once he does publish it. Also, make sure you subscribe and ring the notification bell to see more videos just like this. And lastly, thank you so much for watching. And like always, I'll see you in the next video.
There's the crawling out. We've lost a helmet. And he's through.
I always said mining's easy. Yeah, here's the heat. Oh, flashlight.